Has your car started acting possessed? Check engine light flashing, rough idle, steering stiff, and your mechanic wants $400 just to run diagnostics? Hold up, before you hand over your wallet, there's something you need to know. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 12 powerful reset tricks that mechanics hate you knowing about. They don't need a scanner, they don't need a fancy tool, and they don't cost you a single dollar. These are the same hidden resets dealerships quietly use when fixing your car in 10 minutes and charging you for an hour of labor. But here's the catch. If you skip step 3 or rush step 7, you could actually make your car worse. So pay attention, because the last tip is the one they'll never admit works. Are you ready to bring your car back to life for free? Let's start with the one trick that every mechanic hopes you never try. The 15-minute battery disconnect reset. Let's start with the simplest trick that 90% of mechanics hope you never figure out. When your car starts acting up, random warning lights, rough idle, strange electrical behavior, most shops will immediately hook up a scanner and charge you just to read the codes. But what they won't tell you is that your car's brain, the ECU, can often fix itself if you know how to reset it properly. Here's how it works. Your ECU stores something called adaptive memory. That's where it learns your driving style, fuel trims, and idle settings. But over time, that memory gets cluttered with bad data, like a smartphone filled with corrupted files. When that happens, your car can start running rough, misfiring, or refusing to idle right. The $0 fix, a proper deep reset. Step 1. Open your hood and disconnect the negative battery cable first. Never touch the positive first. One slip and you could short out the system and fry your ECU. Once it's off, wait exactly 15 minutes. Not 5, not 30, 15. Why 15? Because inside your car's computer are tiny capacitors that hold electricity even after the battery's gone. Those capacitors need time to fully discharge, and once they do, your ECU is completely wiped clean, like it just left the factory. While you wait, you can even touch the brake pedal for a few seconds to help drain any leftover power. When the time's up, reconnect the negative cable, tighten it down, and start your engine. Let it idle. No revving, no driving, for 5 full minutes. That's your car relearning from scratch. You just did a full ECU reset. The exact same process some shops quietly charge $150 for. The brake pedal power drain trick. Now that your battery is disconnected, this next step might sound strange, but it's the secret that separates amateurs from pros. Because if you skip it, your reset might not work at all. Here's the truth. Even after you've removed the battery cable, your car isn't fully dead. Deep inside the ECU and other control modules are tiny electrical capacitors, like little batteries inside the system. They store just enough energy to keep memory alive for hours. That means even after a battery disconnect, your car might still be clinging to old error codes and corrupted data. To wipe it clean, we have to force those modules to drain completely. And the easiest, safest way to do that? Your brake pedal. Here's what you do. Sit in the driver's seat with the battery still disconnected. Now press and hold the brake pedal firmly for about 15 seconds. You might even see your brake lights flicker for a moment. That's normal. What's happening is the car is sending the last remaining charge stored in those capacitors out through the brake circuit. Think of it like squeezing the last drops out of a wet sponge. That small burst of power release ensures your ECU, transmission module, and other sensors lose every trace of stored electricity. Once you're done, your car is truly empty of all residual power, a blank slate. Now, when you reconnect the battery, the system will start fresh. It's like performing a deep factory reset, not just a surface restart. This one simple trick is what allows every other reset that comes next to actually work. Skip it, and the rest of your hard work could be wasted. And speaking of deep resets, step 3 takes this one step further, literally inside the ECU itself. The ignition hold. Deep reset. If you've disconnected the battery and drained every drop of power, your car's computer is sitting there completely blank. And now, it's time to teach it how to wake up. This next move is one that even a lot of dealership techs quietly use behind closed doors. It's called the ignition hold reset, and it reaches deeper into your ECU than a simple battery pull ever could. Here's what to do. Before you reconnect your battery, step into the car and turn the ignition to the on position. Or, if you have a push start button, press and hold it for about 15 seconds. The goal is to activate every circuit without feeding new power yet. What this does is bleed off the microcharge stored inside the ECU's capacitors, those microscopic energy cells that can keep a trickle of data alive even after full power loss. By holding the ignition, you're effectively telling every chip inside the system, forget everything you knew and start from zero. After 15 seconds, release the button or turn the key back to off. Now reconnect your battery. Remember, connect the positive cable first if you removed it, and the negative last. Tighten both clamps securely. Now start the engine. Don't rev it, don't touch anything. Just let it idle for 5 minutes. During that quiet 5-minute period, the ECU is rebuilding its base tables, learning how much air to draw, how much fuel to mix, and how to time the spark. You'll sometimes hear the idle rise and fall slightly. That's the car teaching itself how to breathe again. When those 5 minutes are up, you've completed a true deep ECU reset, the kind dealerships quietly charge hundreds for. Next, we'll move beyond the computer and focus on something mechanical that constantly lies to it, your sensors, cleaning and resetting your sensor connectors. Now that your car's brain has been wiped clean, it's time to fix the part that feeds it information, the sensors. Because here's a secret your mechanic will never admit. Half of the bad sensors they charge you to replace, they aren't broken at all. They're just dirty. Every modern car has dozens of sensors. Oxygen sensors, throttle position, airflow, coolant, pressure, and all of them talk directly to the ECU. But if the connectors between them get corroded or clogged with moisture, those signals turn into garbage. The computer can't tell if the engine's rich, lean, hot, or cold, so it starts guessing, and your car starts running rough. I once had a neighbor whose car went crazy every time it rained. Check engine light, stalling, weird idle. The dealership told him he needed a new ECU, $1,200. I told him to pop the hood instead. Here's what we did. We disconnected each major sensor plug, one by one. We sprayed a little electrical contact cleaner, you can also use isopropyl alcohol, into both sides of the connector. Then we gently scrubbed the pins with an old toothbrush. What you're looking for is green or white corrosion. That's your number one enemy. Once clean, let them dry for a few minutes, then snap everything back together tight. The next morning, his car ran perfectly. No warning lights, no stalling, no weird idle. Total cost, $4. You don't need to be an engineer to do this. You just need a steady hand, 10 minutes, and a can of cleaner. Remember, your ECU is only as smart as the information it receives. Cleaning those connectors is like giving it a pair of brand new eyes. And now that your sensors can finally communicate clearly, it's time to teach your car how to breathe again. Up next, the throttle body recalibration trick that dealerships charge $200 for. The throttle body recalibration. Reset. Ever pressed your gas pedal and felt like your car had to think about it before moving? That slight hesitation, that delay between pressing the pedal and the engine reacting, is your throttle body begging for a reset. See, modern cars don't use cables anymore. Your gas pedal sends a digital signal to an electronic throttle body, a motorized valve that controls airflow into the engine. Over time, as carbon builds up or your battery gets disconnected, the system loses its calibration. It forgets what fully open and fully closed mean. The result? Lag, poor idle, or sudden stalls. Now, here's the part most shops won't tell you. You don't need a scanner to fix this. You can recalibrate it yourself in a few minutes. Here's how. First, make sure the engine is off and the key is out. Turn the ignition to the on position, but don't start the car. You should hear a faint buzzing sound. That's the throttle body waking up. Let it sit like that for about 10 seconds, then turn it off and wait another 10. Repeat this 3 times. Each cycle helps the car relearn the limits of the throttle valve, the same process a technician does with their scan tool. Now start the engine and let it idle for about 3 minutes. Don't touch the gas pedal. The computer will begin adjusting the airflow, finding the perfect balance between air and fuel. You might notice the RPMs fluctuate slightly. That's normal. When it stabilizes, give the throttle a quick tap. You'll notice the response feels sharper, smoother, like your car just woke up from a nap. This single reset can fix sluggish acceleration, random stalling, and even improve fuel economy. And speaking of cars that suddenly refuse to start, the next trick can save you hundreds on a common dealership scam: the anti-theft immobilizer reset. The anti-theft immobilizer reset. You hop in your car, turn the key, and nothing. No crank, no click, just silence. The lights come on, the radio works, but the engine won't even try. You call a mechanic, and they tell you your anti-theft system needs to be reprogrammed. Price tag? $300 or more. But here's what they don't tell you. In most cars, you can reset that immobilizer yourself, right from the driver's seat. See, your car's immobilizer is a hidden security chip that talks to your key. When you change the battery or disconnect power, that system sometimes loses connection with your key fob. It suddenly thinks you're a stranger trying to steal the car. Here's the secret handshake that can convince it otherwise. Insert your key and turn it to the on position. Don't start the engine yet. Now, leave it there for 10 minutes. Don't touch anything. You might see a flashing security light on your dashboard. This means the system is relearning your key. After 10 minutes, turn the key back to off for about 5 seconds. Then repeat that same process 2 more times. On the 4th time, turn the key all the way to start. If you did it correctly, the car will fire up like nothing ever happened. This trick works on roughly 90% of vehicles with key-based ignition systems, especially GM, Ford, and older Honda models. It's one of those procedures mechanics quietly perform in the back, then charge you a small fortune for. If your car uses a push-button start, keep the key fob inside, press the start button once without pressing the brake, and follow the same 10-minute cycles. That's it. No scanners, no coding tools, just patience and timing. Now that your car recognizes you again, let's fix something that every driver complains about: air conditioning that has a mind of its own. The climate control system reset. It's the middle of summer, the sun's melting asphalt, your car feels like an oven, and your AC decides today's the perfect time to quit. One day it blows freezing cold, the next it spits out desert air, even though you haven't touched a single setting. Before you panic and run to the shop, here's the truth. In most cases, your AC isn't broken, it's just confused. Modern vehicles use automatic climate control systems that rely on a network of tiny sensors and electronic blend doors. They decide how much hot or cold air to mix, where to send it, and at what speed. But after a dead battery, low voltage, or electrical glitch, these systems can lose their calibration. The result? Your vents go rogue. Luckily, there's a simple way to bring it back to life. Here's what to do. Make sure the ignition is off. Now, press and hold both the maximum temperature and minimum temperature buttons at the same time. If your car has dual climate control, hold both sides. While still holding those buttons, start the engine. You might hear strange clicks or buzzing behind the dash. That's your climate control system running a self-diagnosis and recalibration cycle. Don't panic. Just keep holding until the sounds stop, or for about 1 full minute. When it finishes, release the buttons and set your ASC to a normal temperature. If the air suddenly feels cooler or the airflow evens out, congratulations. You just reset the HVAC system that many shops charge a diagnostic fee to inspect. If your car doesn't have those exact buttons, check your manual. Many brands have their own version of this hidden combo. Now that your cabin feels like an icebox again, it's time to fix another issue that can make your car feel downright dangerous. A steering system that's fighting you instead of helping you. The electronic power steering reset. Ever started your car and suddenly the steering wheel feels like it's made of concrete? Or maybe it's the opposite, so light and twitchy that it feels like it's steering itself. That's your electronic power steering system having a bad day. Modern cars don't use hydraulic fluid to help you steer anymore. Instead, they use electric motors and sensors that constantly adjust how much assistance you get. But when you disconnect the battery, replace a fuse, or even just hit a nasty pothole, those sensors can lose their calibration. The car forgets what center is, and it starts fighting you. Dealerships love to charge for this one. They'll call it a steering calibration service and slap on a $100 bill. But in reality, it's a simple procedure you can do in less than 2 minutes. Here's how. Start your engine and let it idle. Then, slowly turn your steering wheel all the way to the left until it stops. Hold it there for 5 seconds. Next, turn it all the way to the right and hold again for another 5 seconds. Finally, bring the wheel back to the center and shut the engine off. Wait about 10 seconds, then restart the car. You've just performed what's known as a steering angle sensor recalibration. The car now knows exactly where straight ahead is, how far you can turn, and how much power assist to give. You'll feel the difference immediately. The wheel will center itself smoothly. Steering will feel lighter and more balanced, and any warning lights for EPS or traction control should disappear after a short drive. It's that easy. No scan tool, no lift, no mechanic. And now that your steering feels brand new, let's move on to something every driver hates: warning lights that refuse to go away. The dashboard, warning light, reset. Few things are more annoying than a glowing warning light that refuses to go away. Even after you've fixed the problem, you replace the gas cap, top off your fluids, the engine runs fine, but that bright orange check engine light just sits there, mocking you. Shops love these moments. They'll happily charge you $50 just to plug in a scanner and hit clear. But here's what most people don't realize. Your car already has a built-in method to reset many warning lights, if you know the right sequence. Let's start with the check engine light. If the issue's been fixed, many cars will automatically clear the light after a few normal drive cycles. But if you don't want to wait, there's a quick trick that works on most vehicles. Step 1. Turn your key to the on position, not start. Step 2. Within 10 seconds, press the gas pedal all the way down 5 times. On the 5th press, hold it to the floor for about 15 seconds. If your car beeps, flashes, or you see the check engine light blink once, that means the ECU has cleared its short-term memory. In many models, the next restart will show a clean dash. It's worth noting, not every car reacts the same way. Some need a few miles of driving before the light disappears, while others require a full battery reset. But even if this doesn't work on your specific model, you lose nothing by trying. And if you want a full reset, the kind that clears multiple warning systems at once, combine this with the earlier battery disconnect method. Now that your dashboard's finally clear, let's finish strong with the final and most overlooked step: teaching your car how to relearn everything you just reset. The drive to relearn phase. You've disconnected the battery, drained the power, reset the ECU, cleaned the sensors, and even recalibrated your steering. Now your car's brain is completely blank, and that's exactly how you want it. But here's something most people don't realize. Once you reset everything, your car doesn't instantly know how to drive again. It has to relearn your habits from scratch. Every press of the gas pedal, every gear change, every stop and start. Think of your car like a student on its first day of class. It has all the potential in the world, but right now, it doesn't know anything about you. That's why the first few miles after a total reset can feel strange. The idle might fluctuate, shifts might feel rough, or the throttle might hesitate. Don't panic. That's normal. Here's how to guide the relearning process correctly. Start your car and let it idle for about 5 minutes without touching the gas. This allows the ECU to stabilize its idle and fuel trims. Then, take it for a gentle drive, ideally 20 to 30 miles. Keep your input smooth and consistent. Gradual acceleration, gentle braking, steady cruising speeds. Avoid hard revving or aggressive driving. During this period, your ECU, throttle body, transmission, and sensors are all working together to rebuild their adaptive data. By the end of that drive, you'll start to notice your car feels smoother, quieter, and more responsive. Fuel economy will stabilize, gear shifts will even out, and throttle response will match your driving style perfectly. That's your car, fully retaught, a clean slate, personalized to you. And just like that, you've performed what dealerships call a complete electronic reset. No scanner, no mechanic, and not a single dollar spent. But before we wrap up, let's cover one final secret that causes more warning lights than almost anything else, and it costs absolutely nothing to fix: the gas cap reset trick. You'd be surprised how many cars end up at a repair shop because of this one simple thing. A mysterious check engine light appears, the mechanic looks serious, plugs in the scanner, and says, You've got an EVAP system leak. Sounds bad, right? He quotes you $200 to run further tests. But here's the truth. In most cases, that light came on because your gas cap wasn't tight enough. Modern cars constantly check for tiny vapor leaks in the fuel system to keep emissions under control. If the gas cap isn't sealing perfectly, the system assumes there's a leak and boom, check engine light. The car runs fine, but the warning stays on for days. Here's how to reset it the right way. First, make sure the engine is off. Then unscrew your gas cap completely, check the rubber seal for cracks or dirt, and wipe it clean. Now, screw it back on until you hear 3 distinct clicks. That's how you know it's fully sealed. Next, start the car and drive normally. Most cars will automatically clear the warning after 2 or 3 drive cycles once the computer confirms that the system is airtight again. If you want to speed it up, combine this with your earlier ECU reset. Disconnect the battery for a few minutes, reconnect, and let the system verify itself during your next drive. That tiny click you hear when sealing your gas cap can save you hours of frustration and a pocket full of cash. You've now completed nearly every hidden electronic reset your car can perform on its own. But there's one last step left, and it's the most important part of all. Because now, it's time to understand what you just did and how to make those results last for years. Final thoughts: how to keep your car running like new. Take a step back for a second because you just did something most people pay hundreds of dollars for. You didn't just reset a few warning lights. You performed a full electronic rejuvenation of your car. Your ECU relearned from scratch. Your throttle now responds instantly. Your steering feels brand new. Your AC blows colder. And all of it, every single reset, cost you nothing but time. That's the part mechanics don't want you to know. Most of what they charge for isn't magic, it's information. They plug in a scanner, clear codes, maybe run a few factory procedures, and then hand you a bill that could have paid for your next weekend trip. But now, you know better. These steps aren't tricks or gimmicks. They're the same resets dealerships quietly perform when a car acts up after a battery replacement, an electrical surge, or a sensor fault. The only difference is, now you can do them, safely, confidently, and without handing over a cent. And here's the best part. Once you've done a full reset like this, your car runs cleaner, shifts smoother, idles quieter, and often burns fuel more efficiently. In other words, it feels alive again. So now it's your turn. Which of these steps worked for you? Did the throttle reset fix your lag? Did the immobilizer trick bring your car back to life? Drop your experience in the comments, because your story might save another driver hundreds of dollars. And if this video helped you breathe new life into your car, hit that like button, subscribe for more hidden auto secrets, and share this with someone being ripped off by a shady shop. You just became your own mechanic, and your car will thank you every time you turn the key.